Good evening.
Well, I think we're all enjoying that a bit too much.
Nice. I forgot we were live.
We need it at like a low volume just to like keep the hum going, keep the buzz.
Yeah. Welcome everyone to our third and final week of our Whisky Wanderers Festival virtual tastings. I'm joined tonight by Adam Ioannidis, the marketing manager of SMWS Australia, and Alex Moore's all-round society reprobate.
Yay! That's a better time. I like it.
Yeah.
And Vic Ambassador.
And Vic Ambassador as well.
Second.
And I like the first one.
How are we all today?
Good, man.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
good. I'm
good.
excited. I'm so excited. It's like the end of the journey,
Some people would say it's well worth the wait.
Oh.
I would say that. I will say that now.
Yeah. Could also say we're wandering into flavour.
Yeah, maybe. We'll find out. We have to taste these first.
Good. Once again, a great lineup on its own. Like when combined with the three, very cool. But just what a great lineup to work through in one tasting.
Yeah, it's definitely a stellar lineup going through everything. I mean, obviously, we're the only Islay out of the entire Whisky Wanderers that arrived here on Australian shores.
Oh, in total as well.
In total, As far
as I know, worldwide, except for this. There were two. There were two casks of 53. They were both 53s. This is one of them. There's another one out there that other branches got, but that's it. Just two casks.
Exactly. So with that, we've also got the two premium or vaults releases that came to the country, and then we've got a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old. It's absolutely stellar lineup.
Yeah. It's a heavy hitter. It's a heavy hitter. And one of those premiums took out single gold at the International Wine Spirits Comp in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the San.
Yeah, it might not be the San Fran one. It's definitely IWSC 2025. Single gold, and the other took out double gold. So we're tasting award-winning whiskies here, the best of the best, which is interesting because a lot of our whiskies do actually win awards. They win golds, they win double golds, but because they're all single casks, by the time they get rated and win the awards, they're all sold out.
And yeah, indeed. And in fact, the two that we're talking about have very low Oz allocations. So if you love them after this tasting, get in while you can because they're sparse. Yeah,
only a few this Friday.
Yeah.
Well, they're not available at all tonight, unfortunately, those two.
No.
So it's only on Friday because of how sparse the allocation is.
Exactly.
But
so well done everyone tuning in for getting a chance to try them, because if you don't get a bottle, you've had amazing stuff.
Exactly.
And that was the whole idea of it, getting every single bottle release this month into a virtual tasting kit to really share the festival releases around. So thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, it's the perfect thing to do. Right, should we start on our first dram?
You bet we should.
I reckon. 112.125, not to be confused with the 122, which we tasted in the previous week.
There we go, 112.
Chiseled features.
Okay.
I think I've had mine poured for a little bit, not too long before this, but anybody watching who's pouring as they go, I reckon tonight in particular, I'd be pre-pouring if you can. Because that little bit of extra time to breathe is doing wonders for, this number one to start with.
Yeah. I think we've, 54.9%. I think that's the lowest ABV in this lineup. Yeah.
One of the lower of the whole journey, actually. They've been pretty high this year. Yeah.
There's been quite a few 61, 62s.
58, sort of 59s. Yeah.
For the most part, it's been 58 plus. So.
Oh
wow!
I almost got sort of like a little bit of cherry syrup, but with like lots of brown sugar.
I can get behind the brown sugar bit for sure. Mine's getting more like the chocolatey than it was off the first pour, which is why I made the previous comment.
Yeah, no, good call.
I'm getting
Bit of like creme brulee cream.
Yeah, golden syrup, great call.
Yeah.
It's got that funk of golden syrup, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard not to say my favorite note according to Morsey.
Don't see how long you go, mate. See if it accidentally comes out later. Don't say it now. Just see if later on you forget.
I'm really intrigued as to what Morsey thinks your favorite tasting note is.
Oh, it's you'll find out by the end of this tasting.
Yeah.
He made comment of it in the first week, and ironically, I had a second one just a few days ago.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's in your mind. I love it.
Yeah.
Right. This is a great throwback because anyone who watched the first one will know this and then just be like, oh my God, is he going to say it? Is he going to say it? All the way through.
It's a deep cut.
Well, we just got to stop talking about it. It'll come out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But agree on the golden syrup in particular. That little like slight burnt caramel thing makes it more at the treacly level. It's definitely there.
I love this nose.
Yeah. There's definitely that kind of like a liqueur black cherries as well.
Like soaked in liqueur.
Yeah. Or brandied black cherries. Yeah. You know, just really steeped black cherries.
Ooh, it's got a really interesting sort of like almost mushroom like aioli / mushroom pate sort of savory note on the palate.
Yeah, there is absolutely
like kind of fungal mushroomy thing.
I agree with that mushroom pate. Absolutely, like really creamy but earthy.
Yeah. I quite like that. An interesting thing I just wanted to point out, it's instead of the usual sort of like X amount of time in ex-bourbon and then an extra 3 years of mat in whatever the second cask is, this is an extra 4 years. So 13 years ex-bourbon, 4 years of first fill heavy char, hogshead number 4+.
I think, that heavy char's coming through in that real unctuousness in all the sort of caramel, treacle, golden syrup notes we were talking about too. I am getting that unmistakable sourdoughy, yeasty, bready note on the palate though. Just so common in the Lomond.
David Gilks has joined us. Good evening, David.
Hello, David.
Interesting comment about feeling a bit hot for 55. I thought it's got a bit of a tingle, but I wouldn't. I would say actually this drink's about right. Sometimes I drink lower, sometimes higher. I think actually this is about on for me.
Yeah, I think it also might. I'm not getting hot for it, but hey, palates.
It also might be the distillation because 112s they've got a whole different kind of spirit character to most other single malts, you know, because they distill to a higher ABV, strip out a lot of those kind of impurities and fusel oils.
Yeah.
Hear me out on the nose. Yakult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you know those Korean flavored yogurt like fizzy drinks. It's the strawberry flavor of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically fizzy strawberry Yakult.
Yeah. That like probiotic sort of fizzy thing.
Yeah. Touch of funk. Funk's not quite the right word, but a little bit of something.
Yeah, it's not quite
funky yogurt.
It was basically a funky yogurt if it didn't have the funk. You'll all have to excuse Lachlan's internet's playing up a little bit tonight, so it might drop in and out, which, you know, fine, because
we got this
on the word, yeah.
We used to, man. We used to do this just fine before. We'll do it fine now.
Carry the torch.
Exactly. David, I agree. I didn't mean to just focus on your last point of your comment, by the way, which just interested me, but I agree with your notes. The caramelized sugar bit, a little bit of that wood polish, which I think we've talked about on every tasting so far, to be honest. Agree with that 100%. And
David and Carolyn Taylor, thanks for tuning in, but also a really good comment. So basically good for gut. Yeah, I can't see a reason why this wouldn't be good for your gut. Welcome back, Lachlan. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Now he can't hear us. Now he can make
He might. You know what? I bet he can hear us, but he probably can't. His volume's probably not coming through.
Exactly.
Sorry, his mic probably isn't working.
Probably true.
That's all right. This is, I'm getting a little bit that sort of bready, that yeasty sourdough note now, though.
It's actually quite mild. Like, for those who haven't heard me talk about this before, it's my flavoured sensitivity. You know, I've heard a few whiskey distillers or master blenders talk about their particular sensitivity, whether it's like, you know, what I mean by that is if it's in there at all, it will be quite dominant and it'll come out throughout the other flavours. So like, I think Brendan McCarran uses pineapple from memory. Some people have that really like coconut. If it's in there from, say, American oak, it's just all the coconut dram for them. Mine is the sourdough thing in this type of distillate from this distillery and all the expressions they do, or types of run they do. But it is up or down, even like for me, it's always there, but sometimes it's massive and too much for me. Sometimes it's mild. This is definitely on the mild side. So if you're not getting that, I think it's almost like that would make sense to me. I'm getting it a little bit. Yeah.
Fair enough.
There was one, I don't think we got it, but Peartini I talk about it a bit because, a couple, like maybe 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
But I talk about it quite a bit because it's the one where I reckon it's been the mildest it's ever been for me off a 112.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think the spiciness of this too is adding a lot that if it's in like a juicy oak and vanilla 112 or a light and delicate kind of 112, things are a bit more pronounced, but this has got the complexity.
We've seen, remind me, because I might be wrong here. I know this distillery has about like 5 different codes, but 112, we've seen peated from this specific code for them, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if it's that one.
You're dead right. It really confused people because for a while it was like, okay, 112 was the first time they bottled that distillery. So it's like, yep, gets a number. And everyone thought it's the expression that is the unpeated version from that distillery. Then 122 came out, yep, peated. Then 135 came out and it was like, okay, well, it's unpeated the first releases, but generally that's a peated, more commonly peated than not. And I think that was when people started to go, oh, so it's not actually like peated and unpeated like you might see with, some of our other codes where it appears like we've just given a peated and unpeated. Cooley's best example of that. Like there's literally a peated and an unpeated, peated for Connemara. But then, and then it turns out that because of all the different, like the ways that the run works and the way that they make the spirit, which I think Lockie's talked about before, has this massive complex diagram, you can have peated and unpeated in all of the codes, basically.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Lachlan.
Yeah. Bloody internet in this house, I tell you what.
All good. If you enjoy this whiskey, we've got I think just 2 available tonight as a little pre-order special. Only 2 casks. The rest will be on sale this Friday, along with the rest.
That is very nice. I'm going to give that a bit more time and come back to that. I think that's opening up. It's getting sweeter and more of like the real fruit bomb for me now as well, like the strawberry and black cherry and raspberries coming in.
I'm getting a bit of that pineapple now. Go on, Lachlan, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying it's got the classic 112 note for me, which is this kind of funky bready thing, but all that bright fruit and coconut. So for me, it's like a pink finger bun.
Yeah. Pink finger bun's
like
great,
a Baker's Delight pink finger bun. You know, that icing sugar, coconut, that kind of brioche bread kind of thing, that sweet bread. That's a classic one.
We all pre-poured this one. If you just jumped in, poured it straight, and dived into it, let us know. Or if you even just dipped the glass and went straight from the bottle, let us know how it changes things,
I know you guys probably talked about it while I was frantically dealing with internet problems, but the So Basically Good for a Gut. There was the 112 that was
that was a 112, wasn't it? Exotic probiotic.
Exotic probiotic. Yeah.
I was trying to remember what code that was. That's exactly what I thought of as well.
It was a 112, and I saw that name, and I went, that's the kind of 112 I want. So I bought a bottle of it myself.
That was seriously yogurty. Like,
Yeah.
I missed that one, and I loved that one because it was yogurty. It was that probiotic Yakult, and it was fizzy as well.
yeah,
It always has that on the character of 112s, even some of the peated ones that we have seen. But yeah, that pink finger bun thing has always been a recurring underlying characteristic. All right,
That was remarkable.
Yeah.
Oh, moving on.
I'm leaving
Yeah.
some in my glass for later on, but we are going to change up the order again because I am difficult. But we are going to skip over to the 35.400 serendipitous cake.
400. What a milestone.
Yeah, cask number 400. Oh, that nose though.
Oh, I know.
And this one's got a bit of an interesting. It's not a long story, but it's a short story. So it's got a small outturn, 162 bottles. But the other thing to notice about this one is the fact that it was matured in a toasted hogshead first, a first fill toasted hogshead, and then transferred into a second fill ex-bourbon barrel. You don't often see that going from what we just call a specialty cask in this case for, ease of the situation's sake, into a bourbon barrel. And the reason for that, and the reason for the low outturn, is because we discovered a leak in the hogshead cask, the toasted hoggy, and then we transferred it into another cask, basically just to save it, essentially. So I think the original, the word escapes me. The original plan was to potentially even mature this as a true single cask, just full maturation in one barrel.
Yep.
But obviously, the world had other plans. So this is quite a unique cask in itself.
It's a great point too around the as you said we use the specialty cask to refer to anything that's not the sort of, I suppose, standard or
like specialty.
And so this is 29. So the foresight to be starting the life of this 20 or 30, let's say 30 years ago, in a specialty designer cask is pretty cool, and it makes sense when you talk about which distillery this is from.
This is one of the casks that you guys would have heard me talk about with this distillery, the Dr. Bill Lumsden cask that would have eventually become Glenmorangie, Astor, or Artisan cask.
Yeah,
bit of the sandbox distillery that it was for testing, and makes sense that specialty was used. But then, just that's a long maturation in that type of cask.
Yeah, and just based off the notes at the very end, you'll see it reads, although not enough time had passed to be considered a second maturation, once sampled, the whiskey was divine, so we simply had to bottle it. So I would say 27 years or at 28 years, they discovered the leak and then transferred. So we're at either a 1 year or more likely a 2 year finish in this case. We don't do finishes anymore. Like they're extremely rare, Yeah,
you're looking at around 3 to 5% finishes, and usually it's all right. The team would obviously check them at around 1 year, regardless, anyway. Once they go into the cask, but I reckon there's about 3 to 5% are finishes.
Yeah, I think that's dwindling as well as they sort of go on. But this is did you just have a taste, Alex?
It's pretty.
Did you taste this in Edinburgh?
I did.
How does it hold up?
It, like, to be honest, I was going to say, it's better now. Nah, it was good there and it's good here.
Great.
It's tracking pretty much exactly the same as I remember, which is great. But it was something special there in terms of like the lineup. I didn't have it with this lineup. Obviously, had a few drams over the course of the period, but in what we call that lineup, it was a standout there. It's just so complex, and every time I go back, even nose or palate, I get different things, which I love. Some people, I want a one note, I want it to do what it says, but I think with this type of special bottling too, if you're paying this for a 29-year-old, you want to kind of sit on it and think about it a bit more. You want it to be complex and layered, which this one definitely is.
Well, it's an interesting point because you say pay this for a 29-year-old. You're looking at $499 for a 29-year-old, with that sort of
as well.
history. Sorry. Oh, yeah, 35 on top of that, a festival bottling. It's just incredible value. This one's single gold at the IWSC this year. There's a QR code up there, but it won't do you any good because you can't buy
No.
So
It's only this Friday.
Just maybe
buy it on Friday.
Yeah. Just shut the QR code.
The funny thing about this, I just tasted this, and I know I use this tasting note all the time. And I got approached at the Melbourne show, Melbourne Festivals event, purely about what does tongue nut oil taste like. And they're like,
which event was
at
this?
the Perth Whisky Wanderers Festival.
Oh, the Perth one, yeah.
And someone came up to me. It was just one of our members came up and went, "I've got to get a hold of some tongue nut oil, and I need to taste it." I said, "Well, you can get a hold of it. I just wouldn't taste it because it's toxic."
No, you should carry, because it's like your go-to. You should carry a little bottle with you, and like a Tabasco.
I'm pretty sure they have an issue with taking flammable things on planes.
Have a stash house in every state, you know, where you've just got freshly poured bitumen and tongue nut oil, you know.
Yeah, calibration locations.
Yeah, pink finger buns and
pink finger. You won't want to leave.
Oh man, it's just so good. Like, and it's doing something different every time. I like, it's fruity one time. That time I had it was just, it's really that cedar. It's gone woody and oaky for me. Every time it's different. It's great.
See, for me, it's got this also really tropical, fruity, citrusy thing to it, which reminds me of having Fijian lime soda. Like, they make it fresh. Also kind of just like limes are starting to go a bit kind of soft and bad. They basically squeeze those, add a bunch of sugar to it, and then top it with soda water.
Yep.
It's on the nose. I'm getting not just brioche, but specifically that overly like sweet bread top brioche. Like, buy anything from bread top, and it's just that really like creamy and lovely brioche that's packed full of sugar.
That eggy, sugary bread brioche.
Yeah, so good though.
I'm also getting a lot of desiccated coconut on it.
It's very
can't say
one of the layers.
Coconut oil is like, but
just desiccated coconut, not oil.
Oh, okay, I still don't think I can put my nose to that one, but someone else in the comments might. So drop your comments in.
Yeah, that Islander lime soda thing is great. It's just blowing off, like coming off the nose.
Yeah, that's a solid dram. Couldn't be happier with that. Glad they caught it. Imagine if it had leaked out and there were fewer than the 162.
Oh man! I mean,
this has got to be
out of like 78 bottles. You know, like just a tiny amount. So go on, Lockie.
I was going to say it's got to be one of the last of those Bill Lumsden casks that came through. Yeah. Here we go from David. Just keeps developing in the glass. That coconut cake thing, woody perfume, nutmeg, stewed apples. Absolutely stewed apples.
Yeah, woody perfume. I can definitely see. It's great comments, David. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, you and I are calibrated as well tonight, then, David, because I agree with that. And for me, almost like those categories of what you said come in different drinks of it, different noses of it.
See, I just got poached pears.
Oh, poached pears are so good. The note's also good.
Yeah.
I was going to leave some in my glass, but then I drank it all. So
yeah, that's happening quickly for me too.
I can't do that anymore.
I'm going to have to pour the rest into the glass to go back to later on. Because I have, that disappeared.
And speaking of the first one, very quickly before we move, if we need to, that belies the strength. That drinks beautifully, and it's 56.2, so stronger than the first one. On the stats alone, but that is just so well done. Yum.
All right. Should we move on to the third dram, the double gold winning?
Oh,
yeah.
Something
velvety smooth with a hint of spice, just a little touch.
Just get so excited, everybody, for this. I can actually hype it up and have no fear that I can possibly overhype it.
This is just like, I mean, the
This
first
next,
thing you guys
next level whiskey.
Yeah, the first thing you'll notice, obviously, 35-year-old. The second thing might be the fact that it's distillery 12, only 87 casks from this distillery. Probably brought this up when we tasted the perfect armchair dram last week.
we did,
but
yeah.
It's worth bringing up again because it's just such an interesting fact that you can get such a low distillery code and yet companionably such a low cask number.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are multiple factors for that because I get asked about it all the time how that kind of stuff happens, and look, there are politics within the whiskey industry as well. You know, things from ownership of the society. Obviously, now being independent, we get access to things we didn't for a while. While we're under Glenmorangie, Moët Hennessy, or Louis Vuitton, Moët Hennessy, to be more specific. But there's all of this industry politics that comes into it. Then also there's production issues and stuff like that within distilleries like Number 12, being closed for periods of time and new ownership wanting to retain all that stock that they had. So it is just how things develop and change.
Like banana banoffee sort of pie.
Yep.
It's
on the nose.
It's those bananas wrapped in foil with chocolate, and then you stick them on the barbecue.
Yeah,
but with like a lovely note. Like this is probably exactly the right amount. No more dialing up or down of that like varnish, French polish.
Yeah,
yeah.
The French polish shellac kind of thing.
Yeah, because sometimes it pushes into the acetone kind of area if it's too strong. Sometimes just a little bit only woody if it just isn't enough of it. But then, this is absolutely bang on.
It's got enough of that autolysis thing going on where all of the things are breaking down within it, because that's what happens over this length of time. You're starting to have all of the organic material that has been absorbed by the spirit breaking down. That's what creates that really perfumey, almost old books kind of thing to it. Old parchment paper.
Have a sip and then have a nose like directly after. It's just
wow.
I can't describe it, but it's an experience.
Yeah, that's good.
Graham Hasselhoff's put a very interesting comment in. A superb drop, best purchased by a friend. You know what? I mean, fair call, but 35 years old.
Still at what, $8.99, I think, a bottle?
$8.99.
Yeah, like
good value. No,
cheap
it's
at
not
twice the
cheap
price
by any measure, but for what it is,
yeah,
it truly is a little masterpiece. Well said, Graham.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw up the 2-page spread that we had in the outturn on it. Most
throw it up.
Got the medal there that we can all see.
Double gold. There it is.
There you go. Double gold.
Quiet sherry to elegance. And look at all those flavors.
I know.
On the side. It's just like now I want a rum raisin ice cream right now.
Banana pancakes is pretty bang on. That's where, we were sort of going with our banoffee and campfire banana comments.
Yeah.
A little bit clovey, vanilla-y stuff. It's
that clovey thing is definitely that French polish element too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spicy and sweet after all, so they've got that part reflected for sure. One thing that's interesting, which just, is pretty impressive, 59.2% after 35 years. Because the spirit weight is carrying beautifully, but, you often see at 35 plus, if you happen to be drinking lots of 35-year-old whiskey all the time, it'll be natural cask strength at even into the high 40s.
Yeah, I discussed this quite heavily with the Whiskey and Element team when we did their training and tasting on all of these. I think this was a very high fill, like it's 69,
You'd think it'd have to be, yeah.
70, because there's no way to hit that age.
No.
And
if it's
this is around the
63,
same. This is around the same time that a lot of these distilleries started to experiment with that fill strength as well. So think about Aberlour, Macallan. They all started to experiment with it in the 80s for those high fill strengths. And Farkless as well.
I have a question. So ex Oloroso butt into a first fill XPX butt. Being a butt, I mean, obviously the fill level would factor into this, but would you have more angel share for a larger cask?
Less, usually.
Less.
You have more angel share as soon as you start to do a transfer. So when you transfer from cask to cask, you lose volume.
Yeah.
Instantly because of, you're going through
You're exposing
rounds
it.
of absorption. Yeah, and also absorption of the timber, so
Yeah, okay.
You're just going to lose tons of volume. You also tend to lose quite a lot of ABV when you have a transfer.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, no, yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, so it's quite surprising because the more, that does explain it a little bit. I agree with Lockie. It can't have been done at the traditional fill. It wouldn't account for this much, but it's a surface area issue. So the smaller the cask, the more wood contact surface area all the spirit has in aggregate, and therefore the more angel share possibility out of it.
Yeah.
So a 20-litre cask will bleed angel share compared to like a 500. But
the other element of it is as well is if this Oloroso butt was really tightly coopered, very little leakage, it would have been pretty good volume because even 498 bottles, that's still a good leakage from a butt.
Yeah.
But it's not as much as it could have been also having that transfer in there. So who knows? Honestly, sometimes it's just magic.
Yep. The magic of the bond store. That is.
Yeah.
Something's happened in this. I'm not even going to question it because this is amazing.
It is. This is superb.
Yeah.
I quite like this bottle, and I'm never going to own one. That's okay.
This is my whiskey of the year to date, I'm calling it.
Really?
Yeah. I had it in Scotland, and I'm again having it here. And it was the same reaction both times, but that's like confirmation, so I'm locking it in.
That's, very nice. It's good, and it's hard to sometimes you want to downplay these really old whiskies because they've got that sort of allure, but you can't. This is just stellar.
Correct, and sometimes it's spot on, and sometimes it's almost like they think they can just get away with that as the only draw card.
Yeah,
it's like it doesn't matter what it's going to taste like or whatever because it's got the age statement or the cask type, but it's not that.
It's a good whiskey because it's a good whiskey, not because it's a 35-year-old sherry whiskey. It's just a solid whiskey. As our members will know, sometimes the 4-year-olds absolutely knock it out of the park as well.
Yeah, absolutely smash it. This has been sensational.
Yeah,
absolutely sensational. I want to come back to it again in a little while. Do we want to move on to our next round?
Yeah, let's maybe move on and then we can circle back to all of them at the end because I think we're all sort of leaving a bit. We can do a little wrap up. Revisit.
I feel if that 35 disappeared way too quickly for me, but I think I want to sit on that 12 for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I'm moving on. I'm changing up my nose here. Here we go. 68.
We're back to regularly scheduled programming with the 68. Yeah. There's no more jumping around.
Back in order.
I think of a few members who are going to be excited about this one.
Mark T.
Yeah, exactly. This smells great. It smells like sticky.
Yeah.
Sometimes they nose a little bit too aggressively. When I'm remembering all the 68s, we've ramped them up. Like when I reckon I bought 68.12 or something and just thought, yeah, we go, and now we're up to 128 already. So there's been a lot.
A lot of those have happened in the last.
You weirdo.
I don't know.
Someone's raining on his parade.
Yeah. It's okay. It's all right. I'm feeling good about it. But this particular one, I mean, bourbon into PX barrique, which is a fancy word for barrel.
Yeah, it's just the French word of barrel. You know. But yeah, so what we've had so many 68s in the last 6 years, 7 years?
Yeah, at least
and they've just been peppering almost every outturn.
And I think there's some are similar in flavor, but we get enough that there's some genuine difference between them. Like some of those spicy and sweets with the custom casks that we've commissioned, those sort of like 40, 60 American European oak ones. I remember one from a few years ago. A couple of years ago. I can't remember the name of it, but it was just Nutella in a glass. Like just straight up, and I'm kicking myself I didn't buy a bottle of it because it was just absolutely incredible.
Oh, have you guys tasted it yet?
No.
Yeah.
Should we be tasting it?
It is like just a different whiskey. Oh, there's links, but it's like I wasn't ready for it.
It's tastes like like an apricot brandy for me, like a really beautiful French apricot brandy.
Great call. It's got an element of that non-whiskey flavoring in it, like almost like a brandy. Yeah,
and it's got a poire on the nose, like that pear Calvados style kind of. Yeah,
that is actually amazing. And then when you go back and nose, and I'm sure taste it again, I reckon, because the nose is now catching up, if you know what I mean. But off the first nose and then into the palate, that was quite stark. But now the nose is a little bit more of that. Yeah, Calvados is probably the right call. Yeah.
You know what? I actually, for me, it's not too much of a departure from the nose. I think for me, like it's still got that sort of stickiness to it. The Calvados definitely getting on the palate. That's a great call. I find it thinner than I thought it would be, though.
See, I find it's just very tanniny, which is lifting a lot of that fatty classic 68 creaminess off the palate.
Okay.
That's what I find.
Yeah, it's odd because it's got it feels thin spirit, but it's what am I doing? But
it's not doing it. Hang on.
I probably just voted for something and don't even know what it was. But yeah, no, I agree. It's thinner on the palate, but the finish is great, which is good.
No, yeah, the nose, like you said, there's that really dark kind of rich sweetness to it. It's almost like molasses heavy sugar on the nose, like opening a pack of like that dark brown sugar. You know?
I don't think anyone, especially a 68 fan, is going to be mad with this one.
Yeah.
Look, it's also an age we don't often see for the 68s.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of 7 through 11-year-old casts, and a lot of those being rechards or HTMCs or what have you. So,
yeah. I think you're right, Adam, but I think it's also like you were essentially saying there. Yeah, like a 68 fan will be happy, but then if you had a few 68s that they weren't for you, I'd say don't just go past this one because it is different with that bit of age difference, different casking. It is not your typical, if that exists, 68.
Yeah, and 5 years in an ex-Bodega PX barrique, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a good
5 years. So it's like, that's why we're getting so much of that really old school sherry stuff going on it.
David's just thrown up a really great comment. Fucking shocker here, David. You're killing it. But one note sticks out to me. A bit of matchstick here, because when I just nose my sort of almost empty glass, that's exactly what I got. That's sort of like toasted wood, but like someone like really on fire, flamethrower toasted wood. Matchstick's an even better note for that. Very big nose, but palate weight doesn't match. That I do agree with that. As I said, it feels a bit thin on the palate, and the nose just felt like it was going to be a bit thicker. With 3-course meal, roast lamb, cake, and custard.
Then cheese, just throw in the cheese you think you're, mate, because I again, you're right on the money with all of those notes for me.
Let us know.
Let us know which cheese you're talking, because
I agree on the cheese note. It's like
yeah. Oh
it's
no,
an
like
ash,
yeah.
It's an ash rind, like white, like soft cheese, you know. The other thing I'll say, I just took a big sip. I normally take tiny little sips as I'm going throughout this. Take my time. I took like a walloping gulp of it and just sat on it for a little while.
That was very strange then.
Oh, sorry, I saw your face.
Can we go to technical difficulties? We're live.
Yeah. Anyway, I took a massive sip of it, and I just sat on it for a little bit. And as you're talking about that thinness, so I was trying to understand if it is tannin or if it's not. It is just that I'm assuming that Spanish oak PX barrique as well.
Yeah.
Because it is really drying flat across the palate.
And did you want to give us a very quick recap of the difference between like a Spanish oak barrique and like American oak or European oak?
Yeah. So, I mean, European oak is a broad term for anyone who doesn't know where their timber comes from, right?
Yeah,
so
cool.
It could be coming from Hungary or Romania or like wherever.
Spain.
Right. Yeah. But they just don't quite know. It's just lumber that's then just used to make casks. Whereas French oak is usually, it's got this really kind of baking spice, still quite drying, but it's kind of heavy on the front of the palate. Sorry, it's not too heavy on the front of the palate. But the tannin structure picks up right at the back of the palate. I always call it the French oak lift. So on the back, it becomes incredibly dry. Whereas American oak is really kind of biscuity. It feels kind of really kind of full all the way across. The tannin structure does. Where Spanish oak is much more, I always like to liken it to if you were to try and bite into a walnut shell, like really kind of crumbly, dry, but all very flat across the entire palate.
Okay.
So it stands up really well to big, sweet wines. So a lot of people's favorite whiskeys would be things like Glentronic, 18-year-old, 15-year-old, 18-year-old. They have so much Spanish oak going on that it just sits on the palate with that really nutty tannin with all that sweetness.
Yeah. David's chucked his thank you for that overview, Lockie. And if you do want to buy this cask, jump on it tonight. Only a couple available.
But, I think it's two of this one as well.
Yeah, just two for this one. But David's chucked in his cheese hat.
Yeah, chèvre. For sure.
I think I was just reading that, trying to really think about what I'm getting, because I agreed with Lockie, but then I'm like, was I getting that originally? I think I'm sort of, in like a nice nutty but soft, like maybe like a Gruyere, but Gruyere's too hard. I don't know. Yeah, it's really nice.
I think a chèvre, like that kind of really soft goat's milk cheese. It has that ashy, grassy quality to it already. That's bang on, David. Yeah.
I've confused myself because I keep going back to nose the 12.
For one last second, I'll throw up the QR code for the 68 again. Like we said, there's only 2 bottles left. Well, to go for tonight.
Tonight, Friday, full release. Limited bottles still, as always. And if you're tasting this at one of the events, there's a couple of bottles available at each event, just in case. If you're coming along to Melbourne's Whisky Wanderers Festival this Saturday, which is 3 days away, which is insane, you'll get to try all of these again. Lucky you.
I'm so excited for this weekend, for this Saturday.
Oh, it's going to be
so good.
Great Saturday. It's going to be a huge day. We've been told that the canapes at the Kelvin Club have had a facelift, and they were yummy last year, but apparently they're going to be even more delicate and delicious this year. So,
and they've had a Scottish chef come in, so he's done a few Scottish specialties. So I definitely ordered those as well.
So it's just fried everything?
No, potentially. I don't know. I've got to be honest with you. I can't even remember what I ordered because it was a while ago.
It was a while ago, to be fair.
I did have a chat with the Scottish chef last time I went in there to check to can all of our glassware. He was like, "I'll make you guys something special for it." but he's not going to be there on the day. So yeah,
just more hollow promises.
I know, but I think it'll be. I did invite him along, but he's told me he's not available.
Gents, I don't want to, bust us up here, but I've picked up the 53.
53
timing, let's do it.
I'm blaming Graham though, because he put that up, a couple of minutes ago, said it smells incredible, and I had to, respond, and boy, do I agree.
Graham got sick of our shit and was like, I'm going to pick this up. That was like almost 4 minutes ago now.
I've got a hard stop, mate. I'm drinking them all. Well done, Graham.
And I agree. And the Whiskey and Almond team absolutely adored this one, because this is just killer.
This one got archived.
53. I mean, it did. It did in the Whiskey and Almond archive. For those who aren't aware, Whiskey and Almond put one extra bottle away of their favourite bottling of each outturn, and been doing that for
at least
years. Yeah. More than 1 year.
So if you ever can't get a bottle of something because, there's not enough of it kicking around after Whiskey and Almond staff training, blame them. And then wait a few years for them to bring it back out of archive and try it again.
Hey.
Exactly. I just got, before World War III erupts, I just got an absolute whiff of just freshly cut. Actually, not even freshly cut, already cut, salami, but you've just gone to your fridge and gotten it out of the plastic bag that the butcher puts it in, Yep. And it's sort of all of that, and it's just wafted.
It's that cured pork fat thing going on.
Yeah. And it's not an intense, one of these noses.
It's just spice.
Very, very, nose on the run.
But I'd say as well for me, the other thing, because you've helped me identify that, and I'm with you 100%.
You're welcome.
The other bit is ash. It's ashy as to me.
You ready for another one of my favorite tasting notes that people always find very esoteric?
Always. Let's go.
Hot on a cold day.
No, it's a white ash on a red brick fireplace.
Oh yeah, that is the type of ash I'm getting though, 100%.
Yeah,
after a fire, not like a cigar ash or anything, just like a full-on,
a red brick fireplace in your house. The cold ash the next day.
Yeah.
Was
an adventurous child and ate a lot of stuff when he was little.
I was taught by my father that you taste everything once unless it's going to kill you. Right? I
did.
I'll walk down. I get pulled up by my wife for this. I'll walk down the street and I'll pull leaves off trees and just smell them and taste a little bit of it. I don't recognize them.
I can't imagine why she'd pull you up on that.
Apparently it's weird.
Seems normal to me. I don't know.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. Maybe you're just artistic.
Yeah.
This nose is excellent.
If you like 53s, you need a Bible because this is insanely good.
So good. The only thing it's low on, which I'm okay with, because 53s have a few different things that manifest at different points. I think I've done something once, in terms of a written thing about different eras of it, but it's lower on the vanilla for me. Then it's got the ash. It's got the. Go, mate. Lockie, you were going to.
I was going to say before this biscuit. I was going to say I will agree with you on I think that the vanilla is hidden. I still think it's there, but that sweet nuttiness that is always there is actually turned up a lot. So for me, instead of just being roasted peanuts, it's sugared almonds. It's got all that candy kind of sweetness to it.
Definitely, because the nuttiness is very high. Yeah.
It's interesting you should bring up nuts because I'm actually getting a sort of oily walnut aftertaste on it, distant aftertaste. It was almost for a second there. I thought it was almost like a metallic, metal pipe sort of thing, but it's become a very savory, oily walnut, which I'm happy about.
It's also got quite a lot of that char timber, that campfire kind of thing going on, and a little bit of the Springfield tire fire thing.
And the best thing about this one is that there's 5 bottles available tonight. So if anyone does want to jump on this one a little bit early before Friday's full release, right there.
Yeah.
Just
nice allocation, though. Good allocation. So well done, procurement team.
Yeah. Yes. That's a southeast pasta Morsey's Head QR code.
Yeah.
Right there.
Nice reference.
That's southwest
We'll
by Lachlan's Head. Go, Lachlan, go.
Go, mate. Do
Without
it.
Powers Unite.
There it is. Oh, that's it. That's good.
We
Power
are
of
Captain
QR.
Planet.
Jesus Christ.
Scan it. No, not Jesus Christ. Just Captain Planet.
Just Captain Planet. We can't manifest Jesus Christ, but we could get Captain Planet here.
No, we don't have the power rings for that one.
No, we don't.
This is
never
great. And yeah, as you were saying, Morsey, 90 bottles of this one in Australia is fantastic. I mean, even some of the tasting notes. Beach barbecue serving grilled pineapple, duck, venison, and seared chicken.
I love that beach barbecue with pineapple. Because also for me, it's a beach barbecue with scallops in shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yabbies on a like hot iron grill.
Oh, yeah. I reckon that's, exactly. That's got that. It's actually funny thinking about the 68 comment about, add to your comment, like people who like 68, go for it, and you just said it again. I think these are like such good examples of these distilleries that and it makes a bit of sense with the Wanderers theme, I think, to bring us back to that, because it's like the distillery is nothing new, but maybe like the way that it's done is slightly different to either amp up one part of it or just, dial down a part and make it more interesting, whatever it may be. But like 53, we've got a lot of 53s, but this is a very cool 53.
Yeah, it's an ex-sherry 53 as well. We see them. They're not, I wouldn't call them rare. We see them, but we definitely see what was I going to say? A lot of ex-bourbon stuff,
Yeah, great call. Yeah, really good call. And, often Islay in ex-bourbon is more preferred because it's like, well, it sort of showcases the peat maybe a bit better. But, yeah, no, it's just another dimension when you add effectively another cast type.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's like you said, the Whisky Wanderers. Now that we're at the end of it, right? We've seen.
We are. Wow.
Yeah, we've seen cast types you don't see very often. SDR, Chinkapin. We've seen really cool transitions of things from recharred to number 4 char. We've seen really cool transitions like the 35 today, going from the first fill toasted brand new oak hogshead to a second fill bourbon. We've got the insanely rare PX Bodega Barrique. So it's been such a journey to see all these things in distilleries you don't see very often.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Distillery 11.
Yep, that was very cool.
A
couple of 12s in very different format.
Yeah, the launch
exactly
of 162.
Right. And that was the whole idea of the Whisky Wanderers, and we appreciate all the members bearing with us for this first time, this inaugural Whisky Wanderers festivals. First time we've done 3 virtual tastings in a row in terms of 3 virtual packs as well, as far as I know. So that's great. And just a little FYI, July outturn will be out next Friday preview. And then bottles will be available on July 4th. Lachlan, I think you've got a little teaser for us.
I do, yes. So thank you for that segue. I was just getting ready to go back to the 112.
I've gone back to the 35 while you're pulling that up, Lockie, and it is fruity bomb. After
Here
that,
we go.
After the 53.
Let me get rid of that QR code.
So late last year, we saw the Peat Plants, the first Creators Collection, which is our new bottling range that is going to be replacing very slowly the Vaults Collection bottlings and the Premium. So each set tells a story. This story is the Shona Hardy Homecoming Collection. Shona Hardy is a fantastic artist who redid the ceiling of the vaults. after some natural disasters basically cracked it and ruined it. So
that is a lovely euphemism for the toilet upstairs leaked and ruined the
yeah, that's what that's. I was
What, an old building had a toilet issue? No way.
Plumbing in a 3-story old building. Oh my god!
Look,
I'm sorry,
I
derailed you.
No, it's done well considering the building's been around since what, the 1300s, 1400s.
Truth. Yeah.
But these bottlings will be available in July, our turn. So we're finally seeing our second creators collection. Limited sets, like 3 sets, will be available. Otherwise, each bottle will be available to purchase individually on the 4th of July when our turn drops, along with a whole slew of other goodies. And one thing that I'll mention now, there is no virtual tasting in July, as we go through a small, not a small, an absolutely gargantuan team change with our beloved Susie leaving after 19 years with the society. We won't be doing a virtual tasting. We might be doing a live stream of some sort during the month. We'll hear about if we do, but we'll be back in August for virtual tasting, and
we can do Susie with a 53 as the last dram on the lineup. Adam, you probably did this deliberately, but we can cheers to Susie with her favourite distillery.
That's amazing. True.
That is a great point.
Let's do it. Everyone who's on the virtual, everyone who watches this back later, Susie, we love you. You love Distillery 53 and put up with us. So cheers to Susie. You're the best. All the best.
It's always been a pleasure.
We love you.
Best of luck.
Oh, what a good one to end on for the lineup.
I know.
Absolutely.
Have you guys gone back to the 112 yet?
Oh, I've got an empty glass, but I'm going to nose it because that always does I'm going
back. Ooh.
It's almost like heather honey now.
It's just nectarine for me, like nectarine juices.
Yeah. It's got that the red nectarines, the ones with the red around the seed.
Definitely, exactly. Yes. Yep. Fruity.
I also just love how these can change so drastically because, like, honestly, I tried this Monday or last Friday. I tried this recently and it did not taste like this. Like, it tasted good, but honestly, the environment helps. The environment that you're tasting it in. Sometimes if you're tasting it in a really loud and raucous environment, it can just really enjoy the brand, but you're not exactly analyzing it, Yeah. Whereas tonight, it's very much a sip, analyze, enjoy, sort of thing.
I agree with
that. It's a winner.
Yeah, and I love it more now, definitely, than when we started. And I'm not sure if it's the journey of the other whiskies or it's just the oxidizing of that dram. But, man, it's so good now. It's probably both, to be fair. But, it's good now. I'm loving that fruit, how like Carmen Miranda fruit hat insane it is now.
I love that stone fruit note.
Yeah,
that those nectarines and the kind of really juicy peaches, bang on. But still got that pink finger bun thing going all the way through.
Definitely.
Such a good note.
Actually, your strawberry note's probably ramped up, if anything, as well. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a look at the 35 again.
Let's do it.
I poured some more into the glass because it was.
I have very little left. Yeah, that was too easy to quaff.
Yeah, that varnish French, French polish thing.
Absolutely. A little bit more just the candy confectionery style sweetness to it to me as well. That bottom lolly bag kind of cotton candy, spun sugar. Yeah.
I've gone back to no, go on, Lucky.
And those rosy apple lollies, they're like pink and green.
Yes. You know what? I'm getting there's an absolute just a tiny touch of it, which I've now lost. But for a moment there, I got like those musk teeth lollies.
I love the teeth. Yeah, the vanilla peppermint.
Yes, exactly. It's just a touch of menthol, maybe, but like basically just that sort of creamy vanilla thing. Oh, that's a good dram. Far out. We should say, actually, Adam, you were dead right to call me on this. Like when I was saying, I was just sort of objectively thinking about price, comparing it to like the 199s we have, which are banging drams. This being next category or whatever. But like, it is pretty amazing that an almost 30-year-old cask, it's almost single cask, like we were talking about as well, 28-ish years in the same cask, is $4.99.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, we've seen 18-year-olds for $4.99, and there's a seriously wide variety of factors that goes into that. But to get a cask of this quality, forget the distillery, forget the cask, it tastes damn good, and it's a 29-year-old. It's just a good price, So yeah.
You are such a weird unit.
Imagine working with that
lovely. He did that lovely, like perfectly articulate spiel just to do a little tiny graphic at the end of.
Sorry, what did you say the spiel was? What is the first word you said?
Beautiful and
Tiny.
eloquent. What did I say? Articulate.
Tiny and
Did it start
lovely.
with L? Sorry, lovely.
Lovely. You are a fiend. We cannot take you anywhere, even when we don't leave the house.
All right, shall we quickly revisit the?
Let's. Do
I went back to the 12.
I'm doing the 12. I've been doing.
Oh,
it
you're
all
doing the
day.
12. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I
So the 12. I got chamomile palm olive soap on the nose.
Ooh, very specific and good. I love it.
I get a little bit of like a pomegranate rhubarb as well on the nose,
Excellent.
or rhubois if you're nasty.
Ruboys.
I'm not.
Rui Boss.
Hmm.
No, I can
I'm
see
feeling a
that.
bit serene though. So
There is a
It's
lovely.
got
I do love it when there's tannin in that. In drams, like, and obviously at the right level. But yeah, you get that nice little bit of tea, and it does a great thing on the palate.
But that breakdown, that autolysis that I was talking about earlier, is so present on this. It's so cool. It's got that that beautiful old parchment, that beautiful kind of gunpowder green tea thing going to it.
Yeah. So like inside of my dad used to restore like Morris Minor cars.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the bit of the leathery old vibe of that process. I'm not quite nailing it, but it's bringing back a memory anyway.
It does remind me of my great grandparents' garage, because my great grandfather had a car in there that just sat, an old car. No one touched it except for him. And towards the end, no one touched it at all.
There'd be a polish or a leather or some sort of restorative thing that we're getting that is obviously involved, but it's got a touch.
But the garage always smelt of that,
Yeah. But also, this is free. It's really nice and sweet. Like it's so layered. It's got freshness. It's actually, if this was a wine, it would be like impossible to pick in terms of classify, because it's got fresh, vibrant fruit. It's got that like deep, developed, overripe fruit, tropical fruit, and then it's got all those tertiary notes you're talking about, like it's so layered.
And then still got a nice, big, beefy malt character to it.
Great call. Cereal is great. Yeah.
Like it's still the balance of cask and spirit is really well managed. And tannin structure is awesome. No wonder this one double gold.
yeah,
Highly worth
keeps
it.
on giving. That's delicious.
And don't get me wrong, I've definitely tasted some whiskies that won double gold in certain awards, not the IWSC, in certain awards that absolutely did not deserve it.
there's so many awards out there, and not
all
do not
a
deserve
lot of
the
them.
time of day.
Yeah, a lot of them are pay to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
everyone gets a prize kind of thing. Like you do okay and you get a gold straight away kind of thing. Exactly.
Is it the SFSA? I think is the big one where it's everyone gets a bronze no matter what.
Exactly.
Participation.
Yeah. And so I've seen so many distillers go, "Oh, we got this at this award. It was a bronze medal for this product. They're like, oh,
yeah, correct.
yeah,
Oh,
you shouldn't be serving that to people.
It is a step above. Jim Murray gave me lots of points.
I was going to add to that, but I'm not going to.
No, I could go. I could go further too, but I've decided to stop. And drink my 68 again instead. That's my distraction, and that has gone lovely as well. Well, it was lovely to start with. It's gone different too. I love how they've developed. All of them have changed.
Honestly, they've all, just really, even the 53.
The 68's minty now for me.
Have you noticed that the tannin structure throughout the tasting is just getting more and more dense and like blanketing across the entire palate?
I 100% agree. I didn't notice it with the 53, to be honest, because the peat threw me. But
peat and tannin are always really difficult to kind of
distinguish. Kind of, yeah, agree.
You have to sit there and think real hard about texture while all that peat flavor is going on, which is quite difficult for our brain to do.
And when the other deliciousness that you're not ready for is going, whoa, that's not what I was expecting. I'm getting literally, I don't know. I'm on a confectionery event tonight, clearly, but I'm getting those with the granulated sugar on them, those little like spearmint leaf lolly things in the 68 now, which is quite
I find that's a note I find a lot in rye whiskey.
Yeah. That's a very cool cast. That's 68.
Yeah, it's dried out a lot more. It's not as I think it's fattened up a little bit more on the palate now after being open for a while.
This is the one you said you took a reasonably big swig of the first time around.
To try and understand the tannin.
Yeah, I've just done a similar thing because I had a fair bit left, and Do
you see what I mean by how blanketing it is? It lifts all that classic 68 creamy fatty off the palate.
It does. It tastes actually less thin, like we were saying. It's actually it's just a bit more coating, and it's doing different things at the back, like creeping up the back palate a bit.
Because the spirit's not actually thin; it's just lifted.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very nice. I don't usually buy 68. I mean, as in, I had a fair few because I like 68. Had too many, didn't buy a heap for ages. Had them when we were hosting things, and like as in Whiskey Abbey had a 68 on pour a couple of times, and it's always pleasant. But I might have to get this. This is a very, very left field version of a 68, while still being clearly a 68.
Yeah. If you're coming along to any of our Tassie events next week, you'll be trying this one again in all its glory.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid. All right. I'm going to finally revisit the 53, even though I sort of have done that a bit and more recently.
The 53 for me, just on like an empty glass, is just pure ash, but like really gentle, just lovely. Very characteristic of the 53s, but
it's red brick fireplaces.
It is. It really is. Ash is huge on it in a pleasant way. Like for those who are relatively new or we're talking about ash a lot like it's a great thing, but it's a very, very pleasant note, what we're referring to.
No. It's also got a bit of linseed oil going on the nose now.
Yeah, that's very nice.
And grapeseed oil.
I think I really prefer these Islas that we were talking before about generally being bourbon cask when they're done in a PX or an Oloroso to finish or to extra mature, when it's a reasonably short time and it's not too saturated. And I feel like this, because this has got lovely bourbon Isla 53 notes coming through, but the PX is just adding a dimension of that red fruit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that candied almonds thing that I was talking about before is just growing in spades.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the bright red ones, Are they sugared almonds or candied almonds? Whatever,
I think they're probably the same thing depending on where you buy them. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's so cool to go back to all of these.
Yeah,
well,
proper revisit.
Yeah.
We finished where we start with me saying, yum. They were
good.
That's
so exciting. Thus ends the June virtuals, the Whisky Wanderers virtuals.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam, again. We've done it the
It's
first
all
two
right.
times. Might as well do it the third. Congratulations, Adam, on putting these incredible tasting packs together.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. No, please. Thank you.
We
No,
can't
All
let
right,
him hear this again.
I take back the sentiment.
Yeah.
No, it's been a real pleasure. Obviously we do this sort of thing every month. Sometimes, we change up the lineup. Sometimes Andrew joins in. Sometimes I sit out. Sometimes Lockie sits out. Sometimes Alex sits out.
It's all about availability.
That's it.
Well, yeah, pretty much is. But it's just been a pleasure this month going through every single week and trying every whiskey in our turn. As I said, I think it was a first going through every cask release. Well, sorry, in this stagnated 3-week thing. Obviously, you and I, Alex, we did the full Monty last year.
Oh yes, yeah.
Massive.
This was much better for actual analysis. By the time we got to dram 14 or something last time, I was like, "Yep."
You also get to spend more time on each one.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, that's
so
right. And revisit everything.
I would not be surprised if we did something similar in the near future. And thank you everyone who purchased the packs and who joined us live. And if you haven't already, we've still got a few tickets to Hobart, Launceston, Brisbane, and Canberra festival tasting event. Sydney sold out. Adelaide basically sold out. That's tomorrow night. Lachlan, you're going to host that one. That's going to be
we've got a flight in only a few hours. Well, in about 12 hours.
Settle down a few hours.
It'll be a few hours of sleep.
Yeah, a few hours of sleep. Thanks to everyone who came to Perth last week. That was like a really incredible thing. Lachlan, I
loved it. Yeah. I really appreciate everyone who came to join me, to meet all of you as well, which was absolutely fantastic. And all the members I met outside of that, either through the whiskey show or through just going out to venues. So, yeah, hopefully I'll get over there again sooner rather than later.
Definitely. Yeah. And Alex, thanks for making yourself available.
Always. Thank you.
Thank you. And to anyone who's around, we'll see you, and who has a ticket, we'll see you on Saturday, the Kelvin Club, for the Melbourne Whisky Wanderers Festivals. Otherwise, Friday, midday Australian Eastern Standard Time, look out for the last of the outturn releases. All of the bottles you've tasted this evening on sale this Friday.
And let's say one final Slanchivar to Susie Torse.
Well said. Susie, you're quite literally the backbone. Yourself and Danelle literally make these virtual tasting kits. So
yeah,
you'll be well missed. If you're in
absolutely will.
Wanderers Festival, you'll see her last hurrah.
See you in the homeland, Susie.
Slanchivar.
Slanchivar.
And thank you all for tuning in. Thanks, David. Thanks, Graham.
Cheers, everyone. And I look forward to seeing everyone in either Adelaide or Melbourne or Sydney or wherever it might be in the next couple of months. All right. Definitely. I'll see you two lads very shortly.
You will.
Definitely.
Thanks, lads.
See ya.
Good night, everyone.